David Mencer joining me right now is the Israel PMO spokesperson. He serves as the Israeli government spokesperson for the National Public Diplomacy Directorate in the Prime Minister's office. Mr. Mencer, even the Americans have now criticized the wide-ranging attacks in Tehran. Lindsey Graham, who virtually speaks for Trump, has said that you're overdoing it and has said that you need to be more careful and more selective about the targets you select, not to do this in a way that does not allow the Iranian people the right to a new and better life. Why this public rebuke by Lindsey Graham?
Good to be with you. Good to be with you, Arnab. If I may say very respectfully, I think that this is not your story that you're reporting is not correct. I can tell you that the Prime Minister and President Trump are absolutely shoulder to shoulder in this campaign. They are having regular conversations, sometimes once a day, sometimes even more than that. And we are absolutely side by side in this campaign against the Iranian regime. There is no daylight between the two countries. We're working hand in hand, our militaries, our air forces, and certainly our leaders. And it's because of the foresight of Prime Minister Netanyahu and the determination of President Trump that we've got to where we've got to. But this Operation Roaring Lion, it's certainly directed against the Iranian terror regime and certainly not Iran's people. What we're doing is we're creating a portal, a door, if you like, where the Iranian people can walk through to get freedom, the freedom which they've been denied by the regime. Now, our policy is crystal clear, whether in the US or Israel, we never target civilians, never target civilians. And now this is in direct contrast to the Iranian regime. Now, myself and my children, we've been running in and out of bomb shelters. Last week, I joined the Prime Minister on a visit to a synagogue which was destroyed, by an Iranian ballistic missile. 9 people were killed in that incident. I looked around that synagogue. I saw a burnt down synagogue. But you know what I didn't see, Arnab? I didn't see any military or police or any state infrastructure, which means that, as is the definition of terror, the Iranians are systematically trying to terrorize our people, as they have 47 years. So this story of saying that there's a rift between our two countries,
I'm not saying that,
there is no rift.
I'm not saying that there is any rift between Netanyahu and Trump. That would be taking it too far. However, I don't think Lindsey Graham would have made that statement without some kind of unofficial approval. Maybe.
Lindsey Graham visits our office practically weekly. He's extremely close to the Prime Minister. What you said is correct. I think Lindsey Graham does work very closely with President Trump.
Then why did he say, please be cautious? I'm aware that he's most for the war with Iran and for bringing down the regime, not today, but over a long period of time. I am only curious why he had to publicly, if he works so closely with you, why does he have to publicly say, please be cautious about the targets you select? Why did he say that publicly to the Israelis?
Senator Graham, who is very close with our Prime Minister, he understands how careful Israel is when it goes directly after the regime targets themselves, after the regime targets. Now, the Iranian public themselves have suffered decades of repression under the Ayatollahs, and the weakening of this regime will create conditions for a freer and more peaceful future. So our fight is with the tyrannical Iranian regime in Tehran, and certainly not with the people of Iran.
I'm sure,
and you will have seen, as I have.
I'm sure you believe in what you say. But now it has been widely reported with video evidence, David, and now this is getting very serious. You see, this is not about who's right and who's wrong. But the video is out and it's been reported everywhere now, including the New York Times. That there is, please allow me, I can't be off, he has to be on.
Sure.
You see, when America denied, now it's shown that there is an elementary school and next to that is a naval base. And there are 175 people killed in that attack, including 150 schoolgirls. The footage shows a Tomahawk missile hitting this particular location in Minab. Now, to say it is friendly fire after that by the Iranians without any basis, we'll have to be a little circumspect about the position taken, because everyone is reporting, and these children, these schoolgirls, had no fault, just as the victims of October 7th were not at fault, and I totally with Israel on that. But there is expert analysis, visual evidence which suggests that this is a Tomahawk cruise missile. Only America has a Tomahawk cruise missile, even Israel does not have it. Now, David, this cannot be just wished away, can it, anymore?
No one would wish away attacks on civilians, but Israel does not attack civilians, and nor does the USA. President Trump was asked about this yesterday. He said it was most likely a misfired Iranian ballistic missile.
But Iranians don't have Tomahawks.
And you haven't been recording this. A third of Iran's missiles misfire and land inside Iran, killing their own people.
But I'm talking about a Tomahawk.
There is no freedom of media.
I'm talking about a Tomahawk. Sorry to interrupt. Right. This is a Tomahawk. It's not an Iranian missile.
All of us have to be careful. I understand your concern for civilians, and of course that is correct to be concerned for school civilians.
Children.
And we take, of course, any uninvolved civilian killed is of course a tragedy, which should never happen. But let's be clear, it is Iran's strategy to maximize civilian casualties. In fact, they see it as their strategy.
For school children to be killed? Or was this a misfiring in a spirit of adventurism, or maybe in the heat of the moment, the location mapping,
Arnab,
something happened?
See, Arnab, with the greatest of respect,
with the greatest of respect, it's a Tomahawk.
You must be very
it's a Tomahawk cruise missile.
You must be very careful. It is. I don't see any evidence of there being a Tomahawk cruise missile. There's no free press in Iran. They have been carted off.
This is being reported all over the American press as well.
47 years now, this regime has not allowed a free press.
But there must be a free press in America.
We never, nor do our American allies ever target civilians. And when the president was asked about this, he said very clearly that this was most likely a misfired Iranian missile. And Pete Hegseth said the same thing. Now, if it does indeed come to pass that it has been some sort of a tragic accident, then it is just that, a tragic accident.
I just like to say this, Mr. Mencer. Mr. Mencer,
Iran actually focuses.
Mr. Mencer,
these are missiles. War on civilians.
These are missiles.
When I rush into a bomb shelter with my children, my children are civilians.
Mr. Mencer, I appreciate everything your family is going through, but the world needs to know, Mr. Mencer. The world needs to know, and I'm asking you this, Mr. Mencer, because I'll tell you this, because unfortunately, the Western media waking up now is beginning to report on this. But I have been saying for the longest time on the Republic Media Network, that the Western media has put blindfolds on the incident that has happened with Iranian schoolgirls. And if you say to me tonight, if it happened, it's a mistake, it's a very expensive mistake, it would take nothing for Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Trump to come out and say that it was a mistake on their part, but to not acknowledge it. And to defiantly say it does not matter is not appropriate. I say this to you, Mr. Mencer, because the Western media which has had too much hegemony for far too long and has never questioned. The BBC and the CNN will not ask the questions that the Republic Media Network will, but I will, because right is right and wrong is wrong. So, Mr. Mencer, this is documented everywhere. You always give lectures. Iran does not have a media. If a section of the American media is woken up right now, why do Trump and Netanyahu not answer the question? You can't manufacture Tomahawk, or you say that's an AI-generated visual. It's not an AI-generated visual.
Look,
it's a,
Arnab.
Yes, sir.
We just welcomed your Prime Minister to our country.
What has that got to do with this?
Let me tell you what it has to do with it. We just welcomed your Prime Minister. I was lucky enough to accompany Prime Minister Netanyahu to the airport to welcome Prime Minister Modi. And we went from the airport the following day, we actually went to Israel's Knesset, Israel's parliament. And this is what your Prime Minister said to our Knesset, and there was not a dry eye in the house. He said, what Israel and India share, this is the wise words of your Prime Minister. He said, we share a zero tolerance for terrorism. That is what unites our two countries.
But Mr. Mencer, 1 second, please.
Just one minute. That is why your Prime Minister is beloved in this country.
1 minute,
now,
sir.
I can tell you
categorically, there is no contradiction which you are trying to build here. Let me tell you very clearly, the position, 1 minute, sir. The position is absolutely the same. The position is absolutely the same. But Mr. Mencer, the position is absolutely the same. And may I remind you that the Republic Media Network was the strongest, stronger than any other network in condemning the October 7th attacks. You know, you can ask your ambassador here. He came to my studio multiple occasions. And I've had the privilege of interviewing Mr. Netanyahu earlier on a different occasion. I believe in the Israel-India relationship. I am against terrorism. I am against terrorism in every form. But this particular incident cannot be, we can't wear blindfolds over it. We can't play blindfolds over what happened. I think these are a deeper statement than a dismissal. Yes, sir.
You've invited me on, Arnab. Allow me to share with you the facts. Israel has investigated this incident, and we found no Israeli aircraft or no operation in that area. The US have investigated the incident, and President Trump said that it was not a US attack. And Defense Secretary has also said that it was not US attack. In fact, they both suggested it was most likely an Iranian misfire of a missile. So those are the facts that I can share with you. Now, all of us have to be very, very careful now, because Iran, the regime in Iran, not the people of Iran, will try and portray this as some sort of targeted policy. The opposite is true. We make every effort to ensure that civilians are not hurt in any way, shape, or form. And we have an unrivaled record when it comes to not targeting civilians. Indeed, we've probably got the best record in the entire world. In fact, John Spencer, who is an expert on urban warfare, he said about Israel's military tactics that we lead the world. We have the gold standard, because no country goes to more efforts than Israel to avoid civilian casualties. Whereas Iran, because they are Islamic fundamentalists, are trying to maximize civilian casualties.
You know, okay, Mr. Mencer, I just say this, that when Bucha, I think the massacre in Bucha happened outside Kiev, our reporters were the first from the Republic Media Network to be there. We saw what was there. It was not a question of whether the Russians had done it or the Ukrainians had done it. It was a fact that what happened was inhuman, where the bodies were put in at that point of time into a pit. I know that in war a lot of things happen. I would just request you not to say we only believe Trump, but we don't believe the American media. Because today this is being reported everywhere in the world. I'm glad that you came. I hope we pick this up again in the future. Mr. Mencer, thank you very much. Thank you very much.